Is this real life or is this just fantasy? God, that was awful. I'll never do that again. But found a little bit of a story here. Culture Work TikTok account is lighting up the interwebs with her theory on the Tom Brady FTX connection. Let's check it out. From Marcar.com says Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen's arranged divorce. It was a theory to protect their wealth after the FTX crash. A TikTok user reviewed in detail dates and moments of the famous separation of these celebrities. What I'm going to do is there's 3 parts to the TikTok video, and I will play that after I read over some of the article. You guys can leave your comments below and let me know if you think this conspiracy theory could line up. Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady and Brazilian top model Gisele Bündchen divorced last October 28th. According to multiple reports, the first one from page 6 at the end of a 13-year marriage was due to an epic fight between the couple over the 45-year-old's decision to return to his 23rd NFL season after announcing his retirement shortly after Super Bowl 56. Was Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen's divorce a strategic plan by the two? However, an interesting and wild theory has attracted powerful attention and was posted on TikTok by a user, Culture Work, in one of 3 videos that makes an extremely detailed analysis, and it is very detailed, and you'll see that in those videos just after I read through the rest of this article of the news that came out around the separation of the famous couple, and comes up with the theory that it was really the decline of Bitcoin trading company FTX and was really to blame for the aforementioned divorce. The main hypothesis is that Brady and Bündchen, along with a team in public relations, would have made a plan to leak news to the media to strategically plan their separation in order to protect their wealth and properties after the financial loss they both suffered from the FTX crash. And what I'm going to do right now is play those 3 videos for you guys. You can check them out and see what you think and see if this theory is completely plausible.
The more I look into it, the more I don't think it's a theory, but let's speculate and take a look at Tom and Gisele's divorce through the lens of the FTX crash. Me and my pimple are going to earn this Pulitzer in bed. First and foremost, I made a timeline this morning in bed. This, compounded with like politics and government, is like my Super Bowl. So to start, this is a look at Tom and Gisele's year so far through the lens of their media moment. In January, Tom retired. In February, you see their usual stage photos from the Costa Rica trips via Backgrid, their favorite agency. Nothing too wild, them holding hands on the beach, some cute Valentine's Day messages on TMZ. In March 2022, Tom unretires. They have a very clear united front, saying that this was a family decision for him to unretire. Other than that, March is quiet. She's teasing out a cookbook coming out in 2024 about Brady family recipes. April and May are fully silent. There's some chatter about them attending Brooklyn Beckham's wedding, but that's about it. In June, they take a nice big family vacation to Italy, sort of pre-NFL training camp. Lovely photos of her feeding him ice cream. And on June 30th, some photos of him working out on a beautiful yacht, just living their best married life. Again, totally uneventful this year up until the summer. July this year is similarly quiet for them, but August is where things get juicy. Tom Brady, who's had the entire year off and just came back from a beautiful Italian vacation, takes a leave of absence during training camp. When he comes back in his first press conference, he says a lot of shit is going on. Let's switch timelines quickly. This view includes some highlighted moments that were happening behind the scenes that are really important to the FTX side of the story. In July, Tom allegedly approaches the Bucs coach for this leave of absence. Mid-August, Tom Brady takes his leave of absence, goes to the Bahamas with his wife Gisele, where FTX is based, and comes back and in his next press conference says a lot of shit is going on. On August 28th, people reported about this press conference. And for the most part, it's just about Tom talking about how life is different, how life changes, how life is hard, all that sort of fluff. In that same article, it says that he and his wife were vacationing at an exclusive resort in the Bahamas during his absence. He and his wife, who are both partners and investors in FTX, which is based in the Bahamas, spent his leave of absence in the Bahamas. The Bahamas bit is sourced by Pro Football Network. What is happening before and after this leave of absence makes it even more interesting. On August 19th, while Tom is on his leave of absence, the FDIC sent FTX a cease and desist letter about misleading deposit insurance. This letter most likely followed a couple other demand letters that I'm sure FTX knew it was coming. If there was any time to withdraw your money, which you have to do in the Bahamas, I think this is it. Anyway, Tom comes back to the States, has his press conference where he says a lot of shit is going on, and Giselle immediately goes to Costa Rica. Whatever happened, they come back. I mean, immediately come back, like the next business day, September 1st, with a massive, massive PR sprint to distance themselves from each other. Emily Smith of the New York Post gets the first exclusive, and many others alluding to trouble in paradise. This fight timeline would have Giselle going to Costa Rica immediately after the Bahamas. I'm going to have to do a part two. Sorry.
Wow. And already, and I just love this comment right here. It says she's done more investigation journalism from her bed than the entire New York Times. Let's play that part two. And what do you guys think so far? I mean, completely plausible theory. The level of research and putting this all together in like a 3-minute clip is unreal. So big shout out to Culture Work on TikTok. And I'm excited to hear part two. Let's listen to that one.
Okay, so in part one, we left off with Tom Brady, who's an investor and partner in FTX, as is his wife, needing to take a very sudden leave of absence to the Bahamas, where FTX is headquartered in August 2022. Just at that same time, the first public sign of FTX trouble was surfacing, as in the FDIC has sent them a cease and desist letter for misleading customers about having their deposits insured. When Tom came back from this leave of absence from the Bahamas, he had a press conference where he said a lot of shit is going on. Also, immediately after the Bahamas, Tom and Giselle's team began a massive campaign spinning conflict between the two of them and trying to distance them from each other. 3 days after that press conference, the first exclusive came out with their friends and buddies at the New York Post, and they'll have many exclusives you'll see later, saying they had an epic fight and that Giselle had went to Costa Rica. This would be like less than 10 days after Bahamas. I think there are a lot of reasons why they like Costa Rica. By September 5th, 4 days later, Emily Smith and the New York Post are reporting that Giselle's back in Miami, taking her kids to a water park amid the spat with Tom. People might also report on the water park, but not the spat. Back to the timeline. So we're here in September. September is only being used to plant the seed about discontent. October is where things get more tactical. September 17th. This is Tom 1 month after Bahamas, almost 1 month to the day of the FDIC cease and desist. This was Tom 2.5 months before. 10 days later, on September 28th, you get another exclusive of the New York Post about them living separately. Again, they're seeding and they're building. October 3rd, Giselle has some staged photos via her favorite back grid on TMZ that are still pushing the rumors of issues with Tom Brady. And then October 4th, we get tactical. Obviously, Emily Smith is attached to this as well and confirmed that divorce lawyers have been hired. As if we need to know they've hired lawyers. October 6th, 2 days later, you see a big tone shift when it comes to Giselle's support of Tom. Someone who was always his cheerleader and who rallied behind him being unretired, all of a sudden can't stand that damn football game. No, it's an exclusive as well. And 4 days later, we get a double header from Backgrid of some staged photos of her leaving an energy healer and having some writing time with her daughter. A week later, Emily Smith and the New York Post are back with yet another exclusive. I wonder how they're getting this information. And now they're saying this is going to get messy. It's going to be a nasty split and they're ready for a fight. Even though the article clearly says that Tom and Giselle are not actually fighting over kids or custody, they both want joint custody. The biggest issue is going to be how to divide their immense international property all over the world. Let's pause here for a second. There are a handful of moments in this media split where their assets, their wealth, their net worth is brought up without anyone asking. It's anchored into unrelated articles, their prenup, the components of it are just overshared with us. That is info they and their lawyers know, and that we don't need to know. One thing that gets me is that it does seem like when they keep talking about it, someone is trying to be intentional to make us aware of how secure their assets and how secure their income is. Exactly a week after the New York Post exclusive, the TMZ exclusive drops that saying that the divorce has been filed and finalized. I will have to do a part three because I'm running out of time. But if you're following the timeline that magically picks up, the second Tom Brady comes back from Bahamas in August, here's where we're at.
All right, let's go on to part three.
Okay, third and final part. We're going to do it in under 3 minutes. I'm going to give you more commentary, what I think is going down, and also leave you with some questions. Okay, so I left you here, which was TMZ reporting the divorce is final. Wasn't that fast? Florida is one of those states where you don't have to have a separation first before getting divorced. And if it's a no contest divorce, you can get divorced in like 4 to 6 weeks. Is this a no contest divorce or is it a nasty split? And what fight exactly were they getting ready for? The marker of good PR is a consistent story and a consistent message. Something here tells me with this scramble, even the most talented teams they have individually or collectively could not make this a perfect thing, because right afterwards, it goes all over the place. On Halloween, 3 days after the divorce news was finalized, you have her saying that she basically has been wanting this for a while and she's been on her own for a very long time. The next day, you have Tom saying it was a very amicable situation. And that same day, you also have Tom's sources saying he didn't want this divorce, it was her idea. The next day, page 6 and Emily, of course, reveal as an exclusive their ironclad prenup. Again, I have no clue why they want us to know this information, but the source, in air quotes, says the end of the marriage is going to be a very easy thing to sort out because they have a very good prenup from 2009. Their businesses are separate. Their wealth isn't really a major factor when it comes to here. The only issue is going to be how to sort of divvy up the real estate portfolio. And again, because we need to know for some reason, Palm gets to keep his $17 million mansion on Indian Creek Island. That is under construction. Giselle gets a home in Costa Rica, and the rest of their properties, Bahamas, Yellowstone Club in Montana. Who knows? We'll figure it out later. Let's pause for a second and go back to the timeline here. We have two people who are having an uncontested divorce with prenups that secure their individual assets. There is no battle over who gets the children, and each person has their choice home and then some. That sounds good to me. So why the urgency? Why the scramble? Why the press campaign? Was the Bahamas trip to talk about you guys each all getting to keep all your stuff? The exclusive makes it sound like everything normal people are worried about in divorces are not things you guys have to worry about. So I have to ask, why the rush and why the scramble? Anyway, 5 days later, Giselle's pictured in Costa Rica living her best life, courtesy of some backgrid photos, of course, looking glowing with the kids, making sure there's a clear shot. While she's still in Costa Rica, news comes out that she dropped $11 million on a mansion in Miami. Near top. To you and me, that's a lot of money. Anyway, the home is cute and it's still within normal ranges for the neighborhood. The listing history is interesting. Mid-August, the listing was then taken down and then relisted September 20th and went right into pending sales same day it was relisted. Did the plan to purchases start in August? Also, unsurprisingly, the New York Post has more photos of this house inside and aerial than the actual Zillow listing does. Again, our girl Emily at page 6 comes through with the exclusive, of course, and not just on the announcement of the purchase, but like photos of the home. Her and Team Giselle are working hard right now. The Post had Mega flying over for aerial shots. Literally, the Post has photos inside the house, like not even Zillow has photos of the interior of the house posted. Anyway, back to the timeline to get us up to speed up until today. Giselle was in Costa Rica hanging out with some hot jujitsu guy. Of course, the only reason why we know that is because he had exclusive photos arranged for us to see it all. TMZ got to have the exclusive detail. All our friends at Backgrid teamed up with New York Post for exclusive photos. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention. While Giselle and her two kids were safely out of the country in Costa Rica, and the same day her team decides to announce that she bought her own home, even though she bought that home on October 6th and not November 10th. Again, I don't know why she and her team and the New York Post needed to have all those beautifully planned aerial photos released to announce that she bought her own home and had her own space on this same November 10th, even though she's had that house for a month and even though she's not even in the country. Anyway, I digress. We have reached the very end of this current timeline. As you know, it's going to be ongoing, and I'm not going to do any more parts of this series because it's kind of exhausting. But
I
here
would
we are.
say.
And here are some questions that I have. Why do they have to go to the Bahamas in August? Why did everything in this timeline have to happen or have to come out before November? What did they know in August and what did they know in November? Is she out of the country intentionally right now? Was Italy a last hope to save their marriage? Was the Bahamas a area 30 minutes away from their home that they can go to anytime they want to? The place they went to save their marriage. If it was a long time coming, why did it have to happen between August and November? Is a divorce and a family shakeup a good excuse to stop construction on your $70 million monster house? Are there any other reasons why a $70 million monster house in Miami may not work for you anymore? The media is calling FTX a Ponzi scheme. Where in the pyramid do partners and investors fall? Where on the pyramid do people who recruit others to invest their money fall? Okay, I'm signing off. Argue in the comments. And all
Wow. So big shout out to Culture Work. That was an extensive amount of research, and to put all that together in what, a 9-minute video. Really great stuff there. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is plausible or just a bunch of bullshit? I'd really love to hear what you think down in the comments. It does put a very slippery timeline together, and a lot of things line up and start kind of making sense. So if you're into conspiracies or plausible situations, this is one of them. So really great stuff again from Culture Work. Did a really great job putting this together. So with that being said, that's going to end this video today. If you like what you saw, leave a comment below. Make sure to upvote this video and subscribe on the way out. Hit that bell notification so every time I upload a new video, you will be informed. And make sure to keep it live and keep it loud. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.